Hey guys, so it's an interesting video on Wild Rift. So we're back with a Ahri complete guide. Now we recently did a Ahri commentary guide where I played Ahri in PvP and showed you just how strong her rework actually is. Now I got autofilled to mid in ranked, and obviously I'm going to jump at that chance to play Ahri, and as you probably can expect by the fact that this is a video, obviously that match went pretty well. So in this video we're going to of course explain Ahri's skills, abilities, and leveling order, and then we're going to move on to talking about her build, runes, and spells, and then of course finally at the end we're going to be having the ranked gameplay of Ahri. So obviously now in my opinion Ahri is currently the best mid laner after her rework, because basically she is very mobile, she has a lot of catch potential with her charm, and she has a lot of burst. The only thing is that she cannot actually 100 to 0 a champion if you hit the charm anymore. Last time with the damage amplification on the charm you could actually 100 to 0 a champion, but now you sort of need either the help of your teammates or you need a couple of ult charges to actually burst them down. So you can't 100 to 0 them in 1 second, but maybe across 2 to 3 seconds as you cast multiple ults on them and use your entire combo of spells, you might be able to actually do that. But anyways, without further ado, let's actually jump straight into the practice tool, straight into the practice tool, and actually talk about Ahri's skills, abilities, and leveling order. Alright, so first up, we're gonna actually discuss her leveling order as usual. Now, Ahri is actually a little bit of a challenge to discuss the leveling order. So, generally you do want to go for Q level 1, but after that it's pretty varied in what you can do. So Q level 1, of course, for the wave clear and the poke. Level 2, you can actually go for either charm or your W, your Foxfire, I think it's called. Yep, your Foxfire. So basically, obviously the Foxfire gives you more damage, especially if you're into someone melee. This is probably going to be a better option, but if you've already chunked them out and you actually think you can get a level 2 kill by hitting a charm into a Orb of Deception with an Ignite or something like that, then you can take Charm as well. Or if you just simply want to charm them to land easy poke and proc electrocute, you can do that as well. So this is a little bit about the situation plus your playstyle, whether you take W or you take E at level 2. But either way, at level 3 you would have all 3 spells. Now you max Q first, and of course you take your ult when available. Now here comes the next dilemma of whether to max W or to max E first. So with W, when you max W, you get a lower cooldown and you also get increased damage, which is really good. But when you max E, you don't get an increased cooldown, but you get a longer charm duration. So yet again, this is sort of situational depending on your playstyle and on the match. I forgot to turn off the bot, but depending on the playstyle and on the match, whether is it more important to have catch potential to, let's say, catch out the 10 and 0 enemy ADC or 10 and 0 enemy mage, where getting that longer charm duration is really important, or is it more important to give yourself more damage to be able to one-shot, not really one-shot, as we said, Ahri can't really one-shot people, but to do more damage and have a lower cooldown on your W, which is more important. So either way, you just want to pick one route and go for that. So you shouldn't be doing something like W E W E W E. You should be going E E E E or W W W W. So that kind of thing. You should be leveling up one to the max first before you level the other one to the max. So let's assume that in this match we're gonna level E first. Of course you take your ult when available. Then of course you max E and you max whatever is remaining last. Obviously. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. So here we're now gonna actually go straight into the river to actually go over what her skills and abilities do. So back to our favorite spot here. So first up, we're going to talk about her passive. So basically, her passive is whenever you land a spell on the enemy, you get a stack. So here you guys can see, I landed that. Here we have 1 stack. So now if we land another spell, 2 stacks, and then 3 stacks. And after you have 3 stacks stacked up, your next ability will heal you. So here, for example, you press your W and you get the heal from that ability. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, another thing is when you kill someone and take someone down, you also will be able to proc their passive. So I'm going to show you guys that really quickly. Now, if we can quickly take some damage from the tower. And now when we kill the Darius here, yeah, you guys can see that huge heal that just triggered from killing that Darius over there. So Anyway, I'm going to actually enable the bot again because later I need to show you guys how the alt takedown works. So anyways, her Q, you've seen it a couple of times already. It's pretty obvious what it does. Basically, it's an orb that shoots out a skill shot and then it comes back. So it does the same damage when it's going out and coming back. The only difference is that you actually do true damage when you actually come back. So if you guys take a look here, this is magic damage and coming back is true damage. So true damage is generally going to deal more damage, of course. Like technically both parts deal equal damage, but you guys can see that because of the resistance of the bot, the true damage does a lot. So small tip I can give you guys is try to hit it at the tip so that they cannot avoid the return, because the return is the one that does a lot more damage. So her W, what it does is it increases her movement speed briefly like that. You guys can see it's a slight movement speed increase, and it's going to auto target whoever is nearby, be it minions or monsters or champions. Of course, it's going to prioritize champions like you guys can see, and it also prioritizes people who you have either auto attacked or charmed. So it's going to prioritize whoever is your main target. And yeah, so her E is another skill shot. It's a charm. So basically when you land this, the enemy is going to walk towards you for a second plus. I think at max rank it's 2 seconds. Yep, for 2 seconds. So here basically this is your main form of CC. You hit this and you can hit everything else like that. And lastly, you have your ultimate. So your ultimate, you have 3 charges. So each charge allows you to actually dash forward and deal damage to 3 nearby enemies like that. Boom. So here we got the enemy Darius here. We want to take him out like that. So you see that when you get a takedown, you get an extra charge of your ultimate. So that is sort of what I was trying to demonstrate. Something like that. And also, when you get a takedown, of course, you instantly trigger your passive as well. So your passive triggers, your ult gets an extra charge. And that's our deal. So in an ideal scenario, you can get up to 8 charges of your ultimate on one cast. Of course, if you take down multiple enemies, but you can only store 3 charges in maximum. So if you have full stacks, you cannot actually stack up any further. You have to, of course, consume the stacks first. Then you can, of course, consume the stacks, then you can get even more stacks. So here of course I have 0 cooldown, so obviously I'm going to easily kill this guy. So you guys can see I'm back to full stacks, something like that. So here as you guys can see, it shoots out 3 bolts, so it hits 3 enemies, in case you guys wasn't convinced by my explanation just now. So that's pretty much what Ahri's kit does. It's relatively simple, and as you guys can see, the kit is kind of really dependent on, of course, getting resets, because resets will get you your health back. It will get you more ult charges, which gives you more mobility and gives you more damage. So it makes it really fun to play, basically. Alright, so now that we've covered that, we can actually discuss the actual items, runes, and spells. So for your first item, it's relatively straightforward. You want to start off with the Luden's Echo. Luden's Echo gives you everything you want, gives you the AP, gives you the mana, ability haste, as well as that passive that gives you a little bit more AoE. And this is also the item that basically allows you to more or less instantly clear one wave with 1 Q. So go for Luden's Echo first. Then you go for your 2 item power spike of the Rabadon's Death Cap second. Gives you a huge bunch of AP as well as increasing your AP, of course. Next, we're going to discuss the boots. So boots, you generally always go for Ionian Boots of Lucidity, of course, for the cooldown and being a mage. But for the boot enchant, you actually have like 2 options. Your first option is, of course, Stasis. So Stasis is, of course, the catch-all boot enchant, where basically whoever you are, Stasis is generally always going to be useful. Like when you ult in and you run out of charges or something, you can always Stasis, let your team back you up, and hopefully get a reset and dash back out. Next, you can go for Protobelt. So you might be thinking that you already have 3 dashes. Why do you even need Protobelt? Now that's because, of course, the dashes, there is an animation for the dashes, and it does take actual time to actually trigger. So firstly, that's the first reason, and the second reason is in certain scenarios you do need a dash to run away, and using your ult to dash away is sort of a waste majority of the time. So Protobelt can be that defensive tool that allows you to Protobelt away to disengage, and then later on you still have your ultimate for when you want to actually engage or when you actually want to go all in. And yeah, that's pretty much the main 2 viable enchants for Ahri. So as your third item, you go for the Infinity Orb. The Infinity Orb, of course, gives you the magic penetration as well as the crit when enemies are low, which of course helps you take down people more easier and get more resets, as well as generally just increasing your damage. Then you go for the Void Staff, of course, for the magic penetration. And lastly, you go for Morellonomicon, of course, for the grievous wounds, and yeah, basically it's mainly for the grievous wounds. Now, of course, with Morellonomicon, you can go for the Oblivion Orb earlier if you need it, but generally I only go for it after my first 2 items, and your last 3 items are actually interchangeable. Generally, Morellos are last, but you can go for a Void Staff before you go for the Infinity Orb if you do need that magic penetration earlier. So that is how the item build goes. Now, for the runes, you generally always go for Electrocute. Basically, of course, Ahri is a burst mage, so Electrocute is going to help you out a lot in the lane and basically in the game when you charm someone to basically just one-shot them. So, of course, when you hit them with 3 attacks or abilities, you are, of course, able to proc the Electrocute. Now, a thing to note that I didn't actually really realize at the start is that her Q counts as 1 ability. So even if you hit both the outgoing and the incoming part of the Q, that only counts as 1. So you have to like WQ auto to actually proc Electrocute. You can't just WQ and hit both parts of the Q to proc Electrocute. So for the Domination rune, I actually like taking Gathering Storm. Now, Gathering Storm, of course, scales very well into the late game. It's a very strong rune for AP damage dealers, as you guys can see. At 9 minutes, you would have 18 extra AP, and at 12 minutes, you have 28, and it's going to continue scaling up. So I love actually taking that stat and having those stats. But if you don't actually like taking Gathering Storm, there are actually 2 other options you can go for. The first option is Triumph. So, of course, Triumph synergizes very well with Ahri's kit, because Ahri is, of course, a reset champion who gets health when she gets takedowns. So Triumph basically is going to give you even more health when you get takedowns, and also allow you to deal more damage to low HP enemies, which allows you to get takedowns even easier. And the other option you can actually go for is Scorch. Now, Scorch, I've seen a couple of Ahris run it. Basically, it allows you to deal more magic damage in the lane, but I don't like it personally just because I feel that it kind of falls off really easily, like the moment laning phase is over, and the other options are pretty much better. Now, technically, Weakness is a viable option as well, seeing as you can actually charm somebody, but in my opinion, getting something like a Gathering Storm in the end is going to actually give you more damage overall. Yeah, so for the Resolve rune, I actually like going for Nullifying Orb. Turns out that on Ahri, even though she kind of needs level 5 to actually really be strong, turns out you still do a lot of fighting at level 2, level 3 in lane, and the Nullifying Orb is really helpful for saving yourself in lane. And of course, you build a lot of AP, so you still get a decent shield later on in the game, and this is of course just a really strong rune in general. Of course, other options, Bone Plating against like other burst mages, and you can also take something like Hunter Titan if there's a lot of CC, but I think that Nullifying Orb is really, really strong now. Now, for the last option, it's pretty obvious, Hunter Genius. Obviously, Ahri is a mage, where her cooldowns are really, really important, so of course you want Hunter Genius to have more ability haste and get your cooldowns back more quickly. And finally, for the spells, of course you go for Flash, and Ahri you normally go for Ignite for the kill potential in lane, as well as just getting early grievous wounds, and also of course to just finish off kills later on in the game. So pretty much that's the only option Ahri normally takes. And that's pretty much it, going through all of the items, runes, spells, abilities, and leveling order. Now we can actually move on to the gameplay itself. Okay, so alright, here we have the gameplay. Now, as is tradition for our complete guides, whenever we reach the gameplay is where I remind you guys to, of course, like, comment, and subscribe. And any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Now, right up in the action. So now, when I play mid lane, I like to get the ward on in the Raptors. But you don't do this in every matchup, and you gotta proceed cautiously, because there are matchups where, you know, if they have a strong level 1 on the mid and jungle, you can actually get caught out and just die level 1. So it's not worth to risk your life to put a ward, because after all, wards are supposed to prevent yourself from dying. So the reason why I like to ward the Raptors, of course, is to track the jungler. Of course, most junglers start on red buff, and they like to go either to then the Raptors, then the Krugs, clearing full red side, or like red Raptors, blue, that sort of clear. So generally, Raptors is quite a good camp to ward, because mostly they will be doing Raptors in their first clear. But this is of course a Nunu. So Nunu is of course a low econ ganking jungler who doesn't necessarily need to do small camps and only really needs to do buffs. So anyways, here I'm in a matchup against Annie, and I'm not really a mid laner, so I really don't know how much damage Annie does. And here I'm kind of finding out that Annie does do quite a bit of damage. But either way, I get a level 2 combo on her, and I ignite her with a couple auto attacks, and with the minions she pops both flash and goes, but she does die. So this is what I was trying to explain when I was talking about the leveling order. Like, if you feel you can get a catch at level 2 with the E, you can actually go for the E level up, which is exactly what I did here. Annie stepped away from the minions. I hit the E, got my double proc of the Q, hit my electrocute, ignite it, and with a couple auto attacks and a couple of hits from the minions, Annie dies, even popping both subs. So it's a beautiful start to the game for me. I still have my flash up, and Annie doesn't have anything up anymore, and also she donated me a kill. So really lovely start. So we want to, of course, be keeping up the momentum going. Now, something that Ahri actually loves to do is, of course, to shove the wave and then roam. So I definitely have more wave clear than Annie, but I don't have level 5 as of yet, so I don't want to do that right now. But what I want to do eventually is I want to, of course, shove the wave and then roam. So here, as you guys can see, Annie does really do quite a chunk of damage if she can hit everything on you, which isn't really hard because her W is pretty easy to land the stun with, and she can pretty much hit a free Q after that and proc electrocute as well. So here I see Annie roaming to her own blue buff because Jax is on the invade. So of course I'm level 5 now. I'm going to come over for the roam. Tryndamere already manages to finish off the kill onto the Annie, and here I out over the wall to actually get the charm onto the Karma, which allows me to get the kill onto the Karma. Sorry, that wasn't the Jax, that was the Tryndamere, I'm sorry. Wrong name there. But yeah, so here this allows me to go back to mid lane, shove the lane in, as you guys can see. Pretty instant wave clear with that Q, shove in the minion, and I'm able to get off a good, nice reset. And yeah, so we did pick up a kill on Annie as well as the Karma. So you can see Ahri's ult, you know, allowing her to travel over the wall and getting the charm on the Karma. Pretty huge stuff. So here I'm about 50 gold off getting myself the Luden's Echo. So I'm actually just going to walk around the base, just wait for that little bit more gold, and there we have it, Luden's Echo. So of course, you know, if you're off by a little bit, you can't afford to wait in the base for a little bit. Now this of course allows Annie to push in, but it's not too big of a deal because I can simply walk on over. I did lose 2 minions, but I can just clear this wave and be done with it. So next wave is here, so you guys can see 1Q nearly instantly clears the wave. If I had Ludens up there, that would have instantly killed the caster minions in the back line, so really simple. So now here I pretty much get caught out, chain CC'd, and they pop everything, both their outs to kill me there. So what I was actually thinking here is I saw Annie veering off to the bot side. I know Nunu was coming from bot, so I wanted to actually get a ward down on that on the pixel bush there so that I wouldn't get ganked, but lo and behold, they were already in the side mid lane bush, so I instantly just die. Of course, really nice trap by them, and I guess not too wise of me to head on over there to ward anyways, so big mistake from me there. Yeah, that's not an Ahri mistake, of course. That's just simply a fundamental kind of mistake. So that's a big oops from me. Of course, I'm not the most experienced mid laner, but I still should have known that. So here you guys can see the instant wave clear. Now that we've actually cleared it out, I was actually thinking of roaming top to help out Jax against Irelia, but I see the Skull Crab up, and I know objectives are going to spawn soon, so I thought of picking up the Skull Crab. Now, unfortunately for me, Nunu is here, so I cannot do the Skull Crab because he's just going to walk over and smite it, so that will be doing it for free. Instead, I get the charm onto the Nunu, and I chunk him out for about a third of his health. And considering both objectives are about to spawn, that is actually pretty significant. But of course, Nunu does have his consume and his smite, so he's going to be able to heal up with the consume onto the Skull Crab. Nunu gets in the gank on Jax as well. I did ping that Nunu was coming up, so you know, Jax still dies anyways. But here, since Annie and Nunu have actually left me alone, I can actually pick up 2 plates here. Irelia comes in to try to actually stop me, but I use my W to actually give me the movement speed to avoid her E, and my team is able to pick up the Infernal Dragon. So here, of course, this probably means that Nunu is on the Herald because he was, of course, at the top side. Annie and Nunu are missing, so a good assumption is that they're actually on the Herald. Now here you guys can see I ult in, get the charm on Irelia, get another ult charge onto her, and I do get the kill from Irelia. Then I use my ult to dash away, flash myself away, and I barely survive, picking up the fruit on the way out as well. So now I'm you know, a little bit healthier. I can go back in and see if I can help out in any way. So here I WQ, and I'm able to get the true damage onto the Nunu for the kill. And as a result, I also pick up the double buffs. So it turns out that Nunu wasn't actually doing the Rift Herald, he was just coming in for the mid lane gank. So this should allow my team to actually go for the Rift Herald instead. But of course, being low on resources, I'm going to just back and pick up the needlessly large rod and the M tome, as well as to of course refill my health and mana, and then we can hit over and see if we can actually do anything about that Rift Herald over there. So here I got my Ludens up. I'm gonna just use my W and Q to instantly clear the wave, and we can hit over to the Rift Herald to of course try to contest it. Now the entire enemy team is already there, so we want to be falling back here. So here I get the charm onto the Nunu, hit my full combo. Nunu uses his ult to, of course, get the shield and survive. Here I'm just hovering at the edges of the fight to see if I can get any picks. I don't want to fully commit into the fight yet. I see Jax fully going in, so I'm going to fully commit to the fight as well. I ult in, get the charm onto Irelia, and try to get the kill onto Irelia. I do get the kill on Annie instead, though, and Irelia actually does live. So here I use my last out charge to get over the wall and see if I can get anybody. Here I actually hit the charm onto the Karma. Karma nearly dies, lives on pretty much 1 HP, but we managed to actually kill everybody else. So not the worst scenario in the world there. We basically traded 1 for 4. And we're also going to be able to get the top lane tower, which is actually going to be the first tower of the game. So me and Akshan here at the ready. You know, we both have a lot of wave clear the wave instantly, and here we do manage to get the first tower of the game. So a huge injection of gold for both me and my team. You can see that I'm at 7.8k gold, which is pretty much the most gold in the game by a pretty large margin, and I am able to pick up both the death cap as well as the lucidity boots. So doing really well, 5-1 and 4, of course, aside from the little boo-boo face checking, not even face checking, but walking near the mid lane side bush, you know, didn't turn out too well for me. So thankfully for us, Ahri's wave clear is insane, so if they want to try to siege mid lane tower, that's going to be really, really difficult for them to do. Right, so here Annie has full stacks on her passive, so I don't really want to be too near her. But Nunu looks like he's going to be getting caught out. So here I'm going to go in for the Nunu, charm the Nunu, and we do get the kill here. Here now I have more out charges. I'm going in for the Jinx. We do get the Jinx, but here it's a really unfortunate situation. I end up tanking the tower there. I tanked 1 tower shot, which was fine, but I did get hit by the Annie ultimate, which caused me to tank another tower shot, and therefore I die. So Annie actually picks up a huge triple kill off of the back of that, which is really unfortunate for us. So basically, all 4 of us die, and only Jax is remaining. So here Jax going for the counter jungle, seeing as the entire enemy team is on the bottom side of the map. Not really the entire enemy team, but you know, you can see some members there. He does manage to actually secure the red buff from the Nunu, and he does have no mana, so that is of course the main issue here. So here he's actually going to win the 1v1 against Nunu, but Jinx actually shows up and actually does end up getting the kill on him. But actually, even with no mana there, I believe Jax wins 1v1 against Nunu. So a little bit unfortunate Jinx showed up there. But yeah, so now here we have revived and we're back on the map. So here just of course getting some wards down to of course check for vision. Here Nunu is coming in. So here's what I'm referring to. Here I'm going to have to ult to actually avoid the snowball, because getting hit by the snowball with the Jinx there could lead to chain CC with Jinx's traps and a lot of free time for Jinx to just pelt me with her bullet. So no choice but to actually ult out there. So here I use my ult charge to get over the wall so I can farm the raptors. So with the Proto Belt, you know, that situation would have been a lot better. Of course, for us, so we didn't have to expend our ultimate. Personally, I'm a fan of stasis, of course, being an AD carry main who always gets stasis, so I of course did opt for the stasis in this particular match. Alright, so here they get a pick onto the Irelia, and we do have the push in on the mid lane. Here Jax uses his Demolish to actually take down the mid lane tower. Nunu is back in, and Nunu gets charmed by me, full combo, and Annie does come in with the ult, and as does the Karma. So here I'm gonna have to run. Annie comes in, and I actually thought that I could kill her before she kills me, which is why I didn't actually pop the stasis even though I had it. But obviously that was a mistake, and I should have just stasis there to survive. But either way, I did enough damage to allow Akshan to actually get the kill onto the Annie and get the revive on me. So all things considered, I don't really lose anything at all except my KDA, of course. So the rest of the fight turns out pretty well for my team. As you guys can see, they are pretty much just wrecking them in the top side of the map. In the meantime, me and Akshan are 2-manning the dragon, of course. We don't really have the jungler here, but it doesn't quite matter when the entire rest of the enemy team is dead. So here we do pick up the mountain dragon as well. And the Rift Herald is also up. So of course, this basically means that, you know, next on the menu is of course going to be the Rift Herald. Right, so here we see Nunu coming in again. We hit the blind charm on him again for another nice chunk on him. Rakan comes in with the ult, and I follow up with my ult. I got a couple more ult charges, so I'm going to dash onto the Annie, and then I'm going to use the last couple of ult charges to, of course, just wave clear. And then we can actually go back onto the Rift Herald itself and just pretty much just take it. So here, Tryndamere is of course in the basement. Me and Jack should be able to do it. I was actually thinking of giving it to Jack, but but two of the enemy team members show up, so I didn't want to take any chances. I quickly secure the Rift Herald, and here Jax goes on to actually go and secure the kill onto the Karma. Rather not Jax, but Akshan secures the kill onto the Karma, and yeah, so here, pretty nice chain of events there, securing the Dragon and the Rift Herald. And here we're just going to back because we have no mana, and we do already pick up the Oblivion Orb, of course, for the anti-heal, as well as building the Prophet's Pendant to build towards our Infinity Orb. Now, of course, anti-heal is really useful in this match. We have Irelia, who has the Bork, we have Nunu, who has his Consume, and we do have Jinx, who I'm going to assume has Hunter Vampirism, so a pretty good amount of healing on their team, particularly from the Irelia, and you could even say the Nunu, actually. So pretty good amount of healing on the enemy team to cut. So 800 gold for anti-heal is super duper worth it. So here I see Jinx, I ult in, charm her, and we finish her off. So this is what Ahri can do. Really strong pick potential with Ahri. So here I still got 2 charges of the ult. So here I'm trying to see if I can get a catch onto the Karma. Of course that's a long shot, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So you might as well just try there. We got 2 free ult charges anyways. Speaking of charges, we do get a second ritual charge onto their inhibitor on the top lane. Any ults, I think nobody. So it was a waste on the Annie ult there. So here I'm going to just quickly clear out the mid lane. But the enemy team is already ready to respond to the push in the mid lane, so we won't get too much else out of that. So here Nunu comes in with the snowball. I was going to try to land the charm on him, but that doesn't quite happen. So here I get stunned and rooted, and then ulted, I flash out and stasis immediately. Irelia follows me all the way, and as a result dies to my team. So that's what the stasis can do. As I always say, stasis is super duper useful. And now I'm pretty much on 1 HP, so I don't really want to fight anymore. I only stuck around because Ahri, even when she's 1 HP, still provides a lot of value because of her charm. So even when you're like 1 HP, if you can stick around, land a charm for someone and just get out, that's good enough normally for them to follow up and get a kill. So sometimes just sticking around for the charm is the right thing to do. Sometimes you just want to, of course, escape because you're way too low. So here, of course, we do recall, pick up a couple items, as well as, of course, refill our resources. And we're back out and about on the map. I'm just going to ward around the area. And yeah, nothing too much happening here. It's kind of a neutral game, but Akshan did take the Raptors, and I didn't want to steal that from him. So here it looks like a fight is going to break out in the bot lane. I'm quickly going to rotate over. I see Nunu over there. I missed the charm because Karma didn't walk forward. She kind of stopped there. But here I'm using the ult charges to, of course, try to get the kill onto Nunu. Akshan picks up a double kill onto Karma and Nunu. I still have 2 more ult charges because of that. Nothing too much to do with them. So here I'm just going for that cheeky ult over the wall. And you can always ult back over the wall if you want to. But my ult actually ran out at that moment. So luckily we do have the bot wave to work with. So here we do secure the bot lane tower. And yeah, as you guys can see right now, really advantageous position at the moment. This game pretty much is unlosable as long as you don't make any stupid mistakes. So here Annie does have her ult up and available, and her stun. So as you guys can see, I do get hit by her by that, but it isn't enough to really kill me off. Alright, so here pretty much we're just going to try to be on the enemy side of the map and just try to be aggressive, try to find some picks if we can. Of course, Ahri is really good at finding picks, and we're going to try to get towers where possible. So we already got the inhibitor in the bot lane, which is going to put a lot of pressure on them. So here you can see that it's really easy to hit charms onto Nunu because his snowball sort of slows him down a little bit, and it makes his path pretty predictable. So here we do get the kill onto the Karma. Akshan gets the kill onto the Annie, and we also get the kill onto the Nunu. So still got 2 more ult charges. I see an opportunity. I ult forward, get the charm onto the Jinx, and use my second charge of the ult to finish her off. So you guys saw quite a number of good examples of using the ult and the ult resets to actually get kills onto the enemies. So here we have the end of the game. So of course there we have it. That is it for the Ahri gameplay and also for the Ahri complete guide. So I'm going to be leaving you guys with the stats as usual. So thank you so much for watching the video, and goodbye.